Hello everyone, this is Ep14 and welcome to episode 14 of Ep20's Dyson Sphere Let's Play. And I'm today going to look at automating these accumulators a little bit, and then I'd like to start teching up even further, right? So we've got a lot of technology to research, a bunch of cool things to get into. Yeah, lots of cool things. Can I unlock this yet? Ooh, I can. I love these things. They're the best. Anyway, we'll talk about them in a minute. One of the things I want to make sure to get going today is probably gas giants exploitation. This will allow us to tap into the resources available on the gas giant in this system and among other systems. And what's nice is this gas giant has fire ice on it, which is a rare resource. I don't think every starting system has fire ice, so we lucked out a little bit. It's not, I don't think it's like super rare, but it's not 100% either. But fire ice is a really cool, rare resource that is hard to find. We've mentioned this a few times. There's a few resources that are rare, and I can give you an example of one. So like graphene, for example, we have to do the whole refined oil process. Or what you can do with graphene is you can make it directly from fire ice. Take fire ice, process it in a chemical facility, and you get 2 graphene and a hydrogen. Like, that's it. You don't need to do this whole production line anymore. No turning oil into refined oil with stone and water and all that stuff. So, I mean, there's quite a few rare technologies out there. For example, there's easier particle containers. There's easier... I think organic crystals is like available in a crystal vein that you can find. There's rare silicon. And there's like people have like sat down and studied and decided like which rare resources are better than others. Some are really good. Others are like, it's nice. Not that big a deal. But what I want to do today is a couple things. So first off, I'm going to kick off gas giant exploitation. That's going to be 1,200 of each research crystal. But what I also did is I uncapped my storage for each crystal type. So they'll just fill up large buffers of storage so that when we want to go research something, we have plenty of the crystals we need. Now we have 3 more tiers of matrix to unlock. I think it's purple, green, and then finally white is the last one, if I remember correctly. But we'll see. So, let's start off prepping for what we're going to need for gas giant exploitation. One of the big things we're going to need is charged accumulators. Now, we could just place them in the world and charge them, but last episode we wrapped up by studying a new type of material or building that's going to allow us to handle this, and that is the energy exchanger. It's basically a building that will charge and or discharge these batteries, these accumulators. So you can just place them in the world, and then when your power starts to drop, it'll drain from the accumulator. So place them in the world as batteries is option 1. Use them as items that can transfer stuff around is option 2. So if we jump into our power tab here, no? Where do these guys live? There, energy exchanger. Sweet. That's cool beans. Let's see, where do I want to place this? What I could probably do is stick it here-ish. Boom, hello, energy exchanger.
You have built a powerful energy exchanger.
Cool.
And can use it to quickly fill the accumulator with the surplus electricity in the grid. You can also release the electric energy stored in the full accumulator with the same speed. With a stable logistics guarantee, it can continuously supply the grid with power.
So I think we do that. That will pipe these guys in here. And then you decide what you want to do with this. So I'm going to set it to charge mode. And then this building is now responsible for charging our energy accumulators with energy from the grid. Now notice we're draining a lot of energy right now. I would think. Our satisfaction's 100. So actually, yeah, no, we're good. Look at that. Cool. Cool beans. Now what I'd like to do is store these guys. Like so. And we'll store like 2 stacks of them. So here's the deal with these things, right? There's basically 2 things we do. One is these charged accumulators are a crafting use for the gas giant exploitation that we're currently researching. So number 1, we need these charges to actually craft the structures that we're going to want to put on our gas giant. Number 2 is if we wanted to, let's say we had a remote location And rather than setting up solar panels or wind things or whatever, what we could do is charge the accumulators on one planet, ship them via interstellar logistics to the other planet, and then discharge them on the home planet, or the remote planet, right? So there's a few ways we could use these things. But for now, just having them automated and filling them up with the excess energy we currently have is going to go a long way for us, right? So we'll continue crafting more of these, and as we craft more, we'll have basically a little buffer of empty ones, and then a little buffer of full ones. Cool beans? Man, look how cool that looks, by the way. I love this building. There's a lot of really cool buildings. We've still not even scratched the surface of some of the cool stuff you can do in this game. So there's a lot more to check out. So that's up and running now, which is cool. One thing I also wanted to do, I think, I mentioned this briefly last episode, I wanted to look into automating this line of resources, right? The things that we always use, conveyor belts, mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I think that would be a good time, right? I think that would be cool. So in order to do that, this is going to need this is going to need this, but also graphene. So we're going to want to, like, decide where to do this at, is pretty much what it comes down to. So we don't need any of the tier 1 motors for these, but if I wanted to automate these guys, we do need tier 1 motors. Okay, that's good to know. So I'm debating how I want to do this. Like, do I want to have, like, a remote location that has, you know, all the things, or how do I want to do it? That's a good question. In my brain, I'm just trying to decide, like, what's the best course of action here? You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm just going to hold off on this still just yet, because I'd really like to spend more of my energy and time to kind of focus on teching up. So while it would be nice to automate these 6 items right here, I'm going to hold off on that just a little bit longer until I really have more of a planetary logistics network up and running. At some point, I would like to have like a big bunch of resources all being produced and flown around with a logistics network. We will get to that point. I'm just going to hold off for now. What I want to do is wait for this research to complete, and then we can check out gas giant exploitation today. I think that would be really cool to do. And just like that, gas giant exploitation is complete. The orbital collector has been unlocked, which is cool. So I'm currently manually crafting a few of these rockets, the reinforced thrusters, because I don't have them set up to auto-craft yet. They require, it's not crazy expensive, it's just the titanium alloy, which is up north, and the green dudes that are down south here. I could easily set up that automation. It's just we don't need a ton of those automated right now. At some point, I may automate them because they are kind of slow to self-craft. But for now, I just want to get them going. Now, in addition to that, we're going to need a healthy amount of these guys, the fully processed ones. So let's take a look at how we craft the orbital collector. So we're going to need an interstellar logistics station, and we need to upgrade that using 50 supermagnetic rings, 20 reinforced thrusters, and 20 full accumulators. Okay, so let's get, I'm going to get 10 of you, so that I can request 3 of these. Now, I may not have the resources to make 3 of these, but we'll figure it out, right? So we're making more reinforced thrusters as we speak. That should be coming along nicely. So in a moment, I think we'll have enough of everything to pull off 3 of these doohickeys. All right, so we've now got quite a healthy amount of these things. Now, while I'm here, you know what else I should do is add 10 of you to my to-do list. That doesn't look too hard to make, which I'm excited about. I like when things aren't too hard to make. So I think we're good to fly up to our gas giant now. So where is he? Whoosh, let's go. Out into space, heading for the gas giant. So how does one build on a gas giant? Well, it's really actually quite simple. Once we get close enough to the gas giant, there will be some stuff happening. Like, we'll kind of come into orbit on it because you can't land on gas giants. It's a gas giant, so there's no landing on it. But manual collecting resources on gas giant. What's that do? Oh, I can do that? That's new. That's new. I didn't know you could do that. That's 100% new. and super cool. All right, but now that we're on the planet, we can go ahead and start building. Now, here's the deal. And this is a little bit tricky. So look at the map on the bottom left. What you're looking for is the absolute equator of the planet. And you can kind of see it because I think like the line that's horizontal here is gonna be a little bit darker. Only a little bit though. But once you find the absolute equator, you'll know, because all of a sudden you'll be able to place your gas collectors. Now, literally, this is the only use for gas giants at this point, as far as I know. You can place gas collectors all the way around the equator. Now, if you look at this planet, it's really quite large, so it should be no surprise to you that you can fit a lot of gas collectors on here. I've so far built 3. I will probably build many more before this series is over. But you just place it down, and your little drones will go out, build it, and then start sucking up gas.
You have built
Look at that.
an orbital collector, which can
cool.
collect the resources of this gas giant automatically. The logistics vessel will come to pick up the cargo as long as you set these resources as interstellar demand at other sites. Furthermore, to maintain the collector working, the collected resources will be transferred to energy in the first place.
So basically what that means is these run for free. Part of the resources it collects will go towards fueling it, but you don't see that. So basically they run for free. It's that simple. You just place them down, they start harvesting whatever resources are on the gas giant. I think there's other resources available on other gas giants and other solar systems. We will get to that. But for now, can I store these in here? Oh, I can. Good. So this is literally just passively collecting hydrogen and fire ice for us. How cool is that? Right? And then we can place more. Now, they can't be placed too close to each other. So kind of like windmills, the nice thing is it's exactly 2 major lines away. So you can very easily determine where these guys can fit, right? It's going to be, if you place them like at the cross section of 2 of the deeper lines here, I guess these are latitude and longitude, but I always forget which one's which, so I'm not going to pretend like I know that. But that's the deal, right? And now each of these gas giant collectors will be sitting here just passively collecting resources. And once there's enough resources here, an interstellar logistics station back on our home planet will be able to come over and get the resources out of here for us. So how cool is that? So let's fly off this planet now, because I've placed the 3 that I have. We're going to go head for home. Now just try and break away from the gravity of the gas giant. It's a little bit tricky, but once you break away from it, you should be fine. There we go. Now we're cool. Those things have some significant gravity, so be aware of that. And then we can land down here, and wherever we want, we can go ahead and plop down an interstellar logistics station that can receive those resources for us. Okay? Now, what I would like to do, and what I'd like to work towards, is deuterium fractionation. So that's like the next thing I'm going to unlock here. And what this will do is it'll separate hydrogen into deuterium. And that's going to be a really, really nice fuel source. The next thing we can get from there is a fusion generator, so I'm going to add that to my queue. Right? So we're going to use the hydrogen we're getting from our gas giant to turn that hydrogen into deuterium, which we can then use for nuclear fission. Right? Or is it fusion? Fusion. Oh yeah, right, fusion. Okay, wow, cool. Yeah, fusion, because fission's uranium. Right, duh. There is no fission in this game, as far as I know, at this point. So that's pretty cool, right? I mean, we're obviously producing hydrogen here, and we could easily feed the hydrogen we're producing here into this setup, right? But for now, I mean, I'm happy with the way things are going here. I don't think we need to go too crazy on it. We have lots of red research cubes, so I'm not going to lose too much sleep over that. So let's find a nice remote location to set up some fusion production, because that'll be fun, right? So let's just go somewhere where there's not a lot of veins or anything. I mean, there's a couple oils over here. Oh, look at that. Nice. How about this little island over here? Does this look like a nice place? Yeah, there's no, like, veins or nothing on it, so I like this. I like this location. So I'm going to plop down my interstellar logistics station, because I made one of those. Now let's make sure I know where the poles are. So that's that way, right? So we'll plan for this to come down here. Okay. Interstellar logistics. I would like you to receive both hydrogen and fire ice, remote demand. And then I give you 10 drones, get you some power. And you should be cool, right? And look, it's going to get the fire ice already. Because we actually have a pretty significant amount of fire ice that comes in there. Now, my understanding and remembrance of how that works is, if the fire ice fills up on the gas giant, it'll still mine the hydrogen. So, I don't think we have to use this fire ice right now, and that's probably good news. So, we will use it for graphene because it's a really nice and easy way to get graphene. We can skip the whole process, and we might wind up setting this up very soon, like right now-ish. But we'll get there, right? Like graphene production with fire ice will happen. But first I want to look at deuterium fractionation, just to kind of show you guys how this works, because it's a cool process. There's actually multiple ways to process deuterium in this game. 2 of them, I believe, if I remember correctly. And what's funny is, like, the cheaper way is the better way. And I'll explain the math behind that, unless things have changed. I don't think that they've tweaked how deuterium processing works. But I'll give you the gist here. Wow, are we low on power? Probably because we're going so crazy on this. What's our power situation? Oh, wow, only 70% satisfaction? What is going on? Current generation is 91.6, huh? Did we drain our batteries? Discharging 1.8 megawatts. Oh, we don't have a lot of batteries, to be fair. So that discharging of power is not huge. Now, if I dropped you down to a 30 megawatt thing, that should help with our satisfaction of power a little bit. What I might wind up doing is throwing down a few more batteries somewhere over here. Because you're done filling these up, or no? Not exactly. Yeah, and you guys are discharging now. Yeah. Well, hey, look, you know, fusion reactors on our planet, there's a reason that I'm getting into this right now. Power's been a problem for us. It's going to continue being a problem for us, right? Obviously, once this guy's internal buffer fills up, I think we'll be in better shape, right? Because this is a huge amount of power that he needs to fill up his buffer with. But let's get... what I'll do is set up deuterium down here, and then maybe north of it, I'll fill in this lake area and set up the production of graphene. Does that sound like a plan? But for now, I'm going to use tier 3 belts for this, because I want to explain how these work. Okay, let's start with getting... Where are your deuterium fractionators? I think it's under here, F7. Yes, deuterium fractionators. Cool. Can you get me... Wow, I really don't have a lot of something. We're short on steel. All right, let me craft a bunch of these, and we'll be right back. All right, so what I'm going to start with is 20 deuterium fractionators. You can see on the bottom left, I'm going to have 20 in a moment. There we go. And now I'm done crafting. So 20 deuterium fractionators is what I'm going to start with. Here's the way these machines work. It's really pretty simple. You place the machine down, and it has 2 things.
You built a fractionator.
Yeah, I did.
Which can randomly fractionate several deuterium out of liquid hydrogen. Use a conveyor belt to import hydrogen from one side, export from the opposite side, and the deuterium will export from the front port after fractional distillation. You may want to increase the deuterium production rate. You can accelerate the speed of materials in and out, or build more fractionators.
Correct. So here's the deal. You feed hydrogen into one side. Hooray! Fusion power is done. Out the opposite side, hydrogen will exit. But there's a chance... Does it tell me what the chance is on the tooltip for these guys? That's accumulators. I thought that it tells me what the chance is somewhere. It's low. It's low, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to say hydrogen out. Working. Okay, so yeah, it's 1% chance to produce deuterium, right? So what's going to happen is 99% of the hydrogen that comes in here is going to pass right through. but 1% of it will be fractionated out into deuterium. And the deuterium comes out the front, the hydrogen goes out the side. Now here's the rub. We can very easily, I think that might be too close, do this. Right? I want to check. I don't think we can have it that close. Can we? Oh, we can. Cool. Look, we already got 1 deuterium. Okay. Now, can I copy you guys? Because that's what I would like to do. Maybe not. So you're trying to separate them too close to each other. I want to have them as close as possible, if I can. Cool. So now these will run as fast as you feed hydrogen into them, which is the reason I'm using Mark III belts here. The faster you feed hydrogen in, the faster they will run. Okay, that's literally the deal. Okay. So here's the trick that I do. And there's obviously many ways to set this up. But what you can then do is kind of something like this, so that it's directly opposite of that. Okay, now check this out. I like to have a little bit of a gap here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a line of belts, and I can do Mark II belts here. Because remember, it's a very rare chance that you're going to actually get this. I'm going to do it like this. And then connect all these dudes. Like so. And look, here comes some deuterium. Which, by the way, can be stored in tanks. And now I'm going to do the opposite sides. And let's not forget that the opposite sides are going to need power. Now, I'm suspecting that this is going to be a big power draw, but not that big, believe it or not. Cool. That should be good. Now I'm going to run Mark III belts out here. I'm going to go just over this dude. And directly into there. Okay. And then we're going to have boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now I'm going to have a couple storage tanks here to collect this deuterium. Okay, so all the deuterium goes in. And if it turns out I need Mark III belts, I'll upgrade them. Very easily, remember, to upgrade in bulk. But then, you ready for the piece de resistance? Feed them right back in. So what happens is, now these guys are running in an endless loop. It's literally feeding all the hydrogen out of here, through the deuterium fractionators, through these deuterium fractionators, right back in, and then loop again. And keep looping. And believe it or not, the way that these deuterium fractionators work is that they keep eventually producing deuterium. So if this was a static amount, which it currently is, because it's not getting a ton of hydrogen, but eventually we'll get a little bit more, and we'll probably make more doohickeys. But what will eventually happen is it'll turn all of this hydrogen into deuterium. How cool is that? Neat, right? And then we're making deuterium, which is kind of lovely. Very slowly but surely. Okay, so deuterium production is a go. I'm going to go ahead and pop you in there. A little bit of the deuterium I got from before. And see how that works? Now, absolutely nothing stopping us from copy-pasting this whole structure and doing the exact same thing again. And we will probably do that quite a few times. Now, there's another way to make deuterium. And I don't know where it is. I have no idea where it is. There is another way to make deuterium, I thought. Where is it? Miniature particle collider. This is it. This guy, for a lot more power, has a much higher chance of producing deuterium. It's a much more advanced technology, something that we're nowhere near being able to make just yet. But people have done research on this, and they basically found that doing this method with tier 3 belts is faster than the other one for far less energy use. So most people, from what I've seen and studied, and in fairness, this might have changed. I don't know if they made this cheaper or something. I haven't checked that recently. But at least as of the last time I played, miniature particle colliders are a more guaranteed way to get deuterium, but they are ultimately slower for more energy than doing something like this. They take up less real estate, though. So if you are more concerned about, how much space you have on your planet, and let's be fair, we're in a pretty large universe, so that shouldn't be too big of a problem. But if you wanted to be a little bit more compact, you could absolutely use those. Cool. So as you can see, lots of deuterium being produced here, and this guy is just, looping his hydrogen, right? And you can see we're technically kind of just losing hydrogen over time. If you're watching, right? Hydrogen is slowly being lost because it is slowly being converted to deuterium. Pretty awesome. Now I'm quickly filling in a bunch more space here because I'd like to do the fire ice bit now. You ready for fire ice? So if we take a look at fire ice, we can make recipe graphene, cannot be made in needs a chemical facility. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be prepared for this, but I'm going to run it this way. And then what we're going to want to make sure is we have a bunch of chemical facilities. Let's make sure we've got, I don't know, a few more of those. I'm just going to do one here and one here. I'm debating if I like how this is set up. Thinking. I think what I'd like to do instead is run out this side. Yes, that seems better to me. Chemical plant here. Chemical plant here. Now, your job will be making the alternate recipe for graphene, the advanced version. Don't pick this. It won't work, I don't think. I mean, this does say that, but pick this one, okay? And then we'll copy and paste you. So you notice that input will be fire ice, output will be a little bit of hydrogen and graphene. Good times. We can do this and this. Is that enough? Yes. Cool. Nice. And then, well, actually, I don't want you there because I want you to export. Let's see. Something like this. Lack of item. Oh. And before I get yelled at for not automating those. It'll happen. Just, eventually. Okay. So I want to tell you that you're going to make graphene as a local supply, remote supply. Okay. And then I could throw some drones in here just to make sure that he can spread the graphene around the planet as needed. And hydrogen, for that matter, too. If I needed hydrogen somewhere, I could absolutely make that happen. And then what we're going to have is export here, export here, export here, export here. Okay. We'll run these. We'll run these. And then we'll do 1, 2, 1, 2. And how cool is that? And now we just need to find a spot to put some power. And we're good to go. Okay? So now all we have to do is tell this guy to output fire ice. And watch what happens. We are now producing copious amounts of graphene and hydrogen. Cool beans? Isn't that graphene production way easier than what we were doing over here? Look at my graphene production over here. This is the graphene production line we've got. Remember, we're getting refined oil. We're pumping water out, which, by the way, it looks like we're not pumping enough water out these days. Are we low on water? We are 100% low on water. I need better water production over here. But, I mean, how cool is that? This was water, right? Yes, water pumps. Cool. A little bit more water going on. That should be better. Hopefully. How much do you make per minute? 55 per minute. And you need 40 and 40 and 40 and 40. So that should be enough. We should be net gaining water at this point. What I did is I made the titanium storage 5,000 and the graphene storage over here 5,000. So, yeah. Now, at some point, we could probably just ditch this whole graphene production line. Because I don't think I'm using this graphene. I mean, realistically, do we need this anymore? I don't know. It's nice to burn through the refined oil, but I don't know that we need this. I'm going to leave it, though, because I know we're very soon going to be getting into a lot of things that need a lot of graphene, and I don't want to tear it down and then regret it because my fire ice production is not all it's cracked. I mean, that's a lot of fire ice, let's be honest. It's a lot of fire ice. If we look at our production panel, how much fire ice are we producing versus using? In the last 10 minutes, on the local planet, we've used 48. But if we did the entire in the ACAB system, fire ice we've produced in the last 10 minutes 420. Let's do the last 1 minute. We're producing more than we're using at the moment. That's pretty bananas. I mean, that's pretty bananas. I don't know that I don't know that we've had usage of fire ice up for the last 10 minutes, but I mean, it looks pretty average. It looks like it's, pretty good. Once 10 minutes goes by, I think we'll have a better understanding. But I think what we're learning is that, like, we're gonna have a lot more. What do you mean lack of material? You shouldn't have lack of material. Explain lack of material. I think you got all angly. Got to be a little careful with those building near the poles things. There we go. That's going to use more fire ice for me. Statistics panel, last 1 minute fire ice consumption. Hopefully that'll amp up. And if I need to, I can just expand this, right? Very, very easy to expand this setup. I don't see why not. I wonder if I could just Control-C, Control-V the whole darn thing. Think that's doable? I mean, maybe. Needs foundation support. I would love to see the ability to do this. Oh wow, that worked really well. I mean, obviously what I need is more of these. 5 more to be exact. And then I have to manually fill in... Oh, actually. Let's get a few of these. How cool is that? Go, drones, go. Dude, I love copy and paste. Those blueprints and things were not in this game last time I played it, and I'm very much liking the addition. There, now we're gonna burn through fire ice a lot faster, huh? Right? Now, why do you have 2? Okay. Wait, why do you have an export here? What is going on? You should not be exporting. How did that happen? How did that happen? I couldn't tell you. Let's clear all this junk off here, because you should not be exporting. And you know what? I actually want to adjust something here. I actually want to adjust something here. You know what I'm going to do? I can make this a little bit more efficient. Technically, we don't need this. Technically, we don't need this second exporter here. We can just let the single exporter dump the hydrogen and deuterium onto this, or the hydrogen and graphene onto the same belt. Right? There's no reason to do that. Alright, now everybody should be behaving. I did something wrong with my belts and sorters somewhere, or the blueprints messed up. I don't actually know. Alright, as long as everybody's behaving, then I'm cool. We might need to update the exporters, though. If we're going to have single exporters, they might need to be Mark IIs. Cool. Alright, now everybody running? I think so, yes. Looking good to me, at least. Looks like everybody's running happily. That is cool beans. And man, look at all the graphene we're producing now. And here comes some more fire ice. Yeah, wow, that's a lot of fire ice. That's a lot of fire ice. I think we really lucked out with that gas giant. All right, we got to wrap up, though. So for now, wrapping up point. Dyson signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time and put this deuterium to use. Because remember, like, at the very beginning of the series, I was given deuterium fuel rods. I don't even know where they are anymore. Here they are. Hydrogen fuel rods. Oh, they're hydrogen fuel rods I was gifted. Yeah, so you can make hydrogen fuel rods with titanium and hydrogen. I usually kind of skip that. But now we have access to deuterium fuel rods, which is cool. We'll be checking those out next episode. Deuterium fuel rods are that advanced titanium stuff, a bunch of deuterium, and one of those blue engine things. Wrapping up point, though. Dyson signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time to put this deuterium to use, and then probably tech up further. All right, everyone. Take it easy.